It's time to cease feeding the ego. October 4, 2014. However often we've said this in the past, we'll reiterate that love truly is the way out of the lower vibrations. When you're stuck in lower, rigid patterns of thought and behavior, call on the love of your sacred self, who exists beyond any discernible dimension or plane of consciousness, and allow the omnipotence and infinity to naturally flow forth from within the deepest, most intimate depths of your being. All of the hatred, lack and suffering experienced on a daily basis and on a massive scale can be eradicated with a simple, collective decision to root yourselves unflinchingly in your opening and expanding hearts. All of the drama, strife, turmoil, and conflict experienced throughout your planet could be eradicated and healed if every citizen of Earth made a simple yet potent decision to shift into the heart space, and we note that those of you who've started to make this shift are noticing the incredible effects that result. You're finding and anchoring a greater sense of love and self-worth than many of you thought you'd be able to, and this is happening as you make the conscious decision to live in love as much and as often as possible. You're raising the collective vibration. When you do this, the good vibration you emit radiates out to the rest of humanity and vastly affects the minds and hearts of souls who might have had trouble opening up to spirit and enjoying the perceptual flow that results without your assistance. If it weren't for the potent awakenings taking place all across your little planet, your mainstream society wouldn't be able to open up to spirit with the level of enthusiasm they will in due time. You're raising the collective vibration with every attempt you make to live not for the ego, but for Source and the higher facets of yourselves descending onto your minds and hearts. So we recommend with love and appreciation for everything you've done so far, that you step up your game so to speak, and make it a point to anchor far more love and divinity than you've been able to so far. We want to say what we're about to say with as much compassion and understanding for the difficulty of the earthly experience as we can. It's time to cease feeding the ego or living for the finite self. It's time to turn away from everything that feeds the lower aspects of your consciousness that clamor for your attention, and it's time instead to turn toward the light and everything it offers. We obviously don't recommend you turn away from your perception of your ego, for to do so would be to deny it, and if you've learned anything so far, it's that denying or ignoring the ego doesn't do you any good. One of your famous spiritual teachers has told you that, what you resist ultimately conquers you, and realizing this is essential to fostering a proper relationship with the ego, a relationship that doesn't see you constantly feed its wants and demands, but use it the way it's intended to be used. From our perspective, the ego is intended to be used as a conduit for the brimming and flowing expressions of the open and expanded heart, and the sooner you realize this, the sooner you can start using your egos in a way that allows for your nourishment and growth as a soul. We want to make a call for the conscious public to cease feeding the ego and its clever disguises, because we note that you manifest a lot of misery and unhappiness when you feed it. Instead of worrying about how you can be satisfied throughout your day, how you can find a sense of joy or happiness, turn to what you can do to help others navigate the difficult lower vibrations you're all enmeshed in. Even those who aren't spiritually aware as the conscious community defines it, still swim in the same dense and difficult vibrations as you, and they deserve the love and compassion of souls who fully understand the difficulty of their existence, not souls who seek to satisfy their own egos for ultimately irrelevant or unnecessary reasons. You're intended to be conduits of love, and especially compassion, for those around you who are clearly having difficulty navigating your earthly experience, and however easy it could be to turn your back on them or think only of yourselves, this isn't your purpose for being on the earth at this time. Your purpose, as many of you are discovering, is simply to embody love. Yes, many of you have taken on complex work-related roles that revolve around working as hard as you can to produce potent spiritually inspired material that's intended to raise the collective vibration, but your works mean little if you can't display the things you speak of throughout your daily existence. Walking your talk. If you write or channel about love and light but quarrel with those around you, or, again, seek to live only for the ego, the purity of the things you offer will be distorted and you'll find it much more difficult to reach the spiritually inspired, heart-centered place so many of you enjoy reaching. We'll go as far as to say that living in love and expressing selflessness throughout your lives is far more important than producing spiritually inspired work. You can channel communications from the company of heaven all day long, but if you're unwilling to take our advice once the channeling session's over, the purity of our otherwise genuine communications will be distorted and nobody will benefit. If you can communicate with us or produce similar spiritually inspired work and then live the example you intend to display for the rest of the conscious community, the collective vibration will be massively uplifted and you'll find it much easier to reach the pure and potent inner space that helps each of you thrive. The love you now have the potential to feel can only be as strong as you allow it to be, and if you continue to feed the ego or live below your potential in regards to helping others, you'll continue to manifest exactly what you've created for yourselves and ultimately, you'll be unhappy. With the extent to which love and awareness are growing in the minds and hearts of all of humanity, however, we are confident that each of you will see the importance of walking your talk and truly becoming conduits for the divine instead of simply offering yourselves as conduits on a shallow level. All of humanity will soon recognize the importance of aligning with the divine and ceasing to feed the destructive qualities that have kept you in states of unconsciousness and unawareness for millennia, and we'll make our final expressions for this communication with gratitude for the difficult roles you each took on in order to experience the earth and help its people evolve. We're ready for the conscious community to turn it up a notch in regards to the amount of love and selflessness you're able to express. But we still recognize the enormous difficulty of the mission you're on, and we seek to do everything we can to alleviate the pain you could easily feel every day. We're here to help you through the seemingly endless trials you willingly embraced before you made your way to the earth, because however confident you were of yourselves and your ability to anchor the light from an extremely dark place, we note that the challenges can sometimes overtake you, and we feel nothing but compassion and understanding for your plight. Keep in mind that everything you're doing is for a greater purpose, and keep yourselves as busy as you can, whether you're busy producing potent spiritual work or expressing the love and divinity you're meant to express to those around you who'll benefit from it more than you realize. All of humanity's awakening thanks to the diligent actions of the conscious community and various other souls who don't consider themselves a direct part of your community, so keep going, no matter how difficult or stressful your existence seems to get. You're on the earth for a much greater purpose than you can consciously see, so keep this in mind when the difficulty seems to pile up and you don't feel like you can find any sort of real or pure higher vibration. You certainly can, and it all comes down to how willing you are to live for love and cease feeding the fading ego. Thank you to my higher self and spiritual guides. Channeled through Wes Anak. cultureofawareness.com